Nandi had always imagined that marrying a billionaire would mean flashing cameras, crowded rooms, and a lifestyle too loud to breathe in. But Kaito Muroi was nothing like the world expected. He preferred silence to parties, shadows to attention, and chose a mansion hidden deep in the forests of Limpopo instead of the buzzing cities he owned businesses in. When they first arrived at the estate, the towering Mariella trees whispered in the evening breeze as though greeting her. The house itself was ancient, stone walls covered in vines, wooden beams carved with Venda symbols she couldn't yet read. Kaito said little about his family, only that they'd belonged to the land and were gone now. Nandi didn't press. Everyone had wounds they weren't ready to open. But even in their quiet life, something about Kaito felt caged. At night, he often slipped outside to walk alone. He said it helped him think, but the way he returned, breathing heavy, eyes glowing faintly in the moonlight, made her wonder. Sometimes she heard deep growls echo from the forest, and Kaito would return moments later as if he'd been the one making them. She tried to ignore it, telling herself she was imagining things. Yet the staff avoided the east wing of the house. The local villagers whispered about the Muroi bloodline with a mix of fear and reverence. One old woman even refused to let Nandi pay her for vegetables, muttering, "Let the forest bless the leopard's bride." Nandi laughed it off, but the woman's eyes had been deadly serious. Life was peaceful, but a strange kind of peaceful, like the hush before a storm. And Nandi didn't know that everything she believed about her husband would soon shatter with one accidental glance in an ancient mirror. The mirror stood at the end of the forbidden east hallway, tall, framed with gold, and carved with leaping leopards. Kaito always locked that section of the house, saying renovations were incomplete. But one afternoon, while searching for a misplaced sketchbook, Nandi found the door ajar. Dust motes danced lazily in the sunlight spilling through cracked windows. Something about the mirror tugged at her, pulling her closer. Its surface shimmered faintly, like ripples on water. When she stepped in front of it, she expected to see her reflection. Instead, she saw Kaito, standing behind her though she hadn't heard him enter. But it wasn't the man she knew. His eyes were glowing gold, not brown. His jawline lengthened, cheekbones sharper, and dark rosette patterns crawled across his skin like living tattoos. Behind him, a massive leopard silhouette overlapped his human form. Nandi froze. The image flickered, half man, half beast. She spun around, heart hammering, and found Kaito standing there in his normal form, breathing hard, as if he'd sprinted across the estate.
You weren't meant to see that.
Nandi couldn't speak. Her throat tightened as fear and disbelief tangled inside her. "What are you?" she finally choked out.
What are you?
Kaito didn't step closer. He stayed where he was, eyes lowered.
My people call us Madalela, the ones who walk as both human and leopard. We were once guardians of the Venda forests, but we are almost extinct.
Nandi staggered backward. You're not human?" "I am human," he said quietly. "But also more. And now that the mirror has awakened, others will come for me. The hunters." The room suddenly felt colder. Nandi realized the peaceful life she had entered was a fragile lie, one that had just shattered into pieces at her feet. Kaito's confession was only the beginning. That night, Nandi couldn't sleep. She sat awake listening to the rustling outside, the forest alive with warning sounds she'd never noticed before. When she confronted Kaito again, he finally revealed the full truth. An ancient order known as the Leopard Moon Hunters had spent centuries eliminating shapeshifters like him. They believed the Madalila were dangerous, capable of opening the veil between worlds and unleashing spirits meant to remain trapped. "They won't stop," Kaito said. "They think killing me keeps the realms separate." His voice trembled, not with fear for himself, but for her. 2 days later, the signs of danger arrived. Their security cameras caught glimpses of shadowy figures moving along the forest edges. Nandi overheard the staff whispering about strange footprints and silver traps hidden among the roots. Kaito grew restless, pacing the halls like a caged animal. At night, she saw him shift partially when he thought she was asleep, muscles trembling, eyes burning gold, claws pushing through his fingertips before he forced them back. The beast within him was struggling to stay hidden. Then came the attack. At dawn, a gunshot shattered the silence. Kaito shoved Nandi to the floor as the windows exploded. Half a dozen men dressed in black stormed the property, carrying rifles laced with silver, chanting hunting songs from ancient Venda warriors. Kaito transformed fully, bones shifting, fur spreading, limbs reshaping until a massive leopard stood between Nandi and the hunters. The sight should have terrified her, but instead she felt a fierce, instinctive need to protect him. Together they fled through a secret tunnel beneath the estate. "They will always find me," Kaito said breathlessly as they ran. Unless you accept who you truly are." Nandi looked at him, confused and afraid. "What do you mean?" Kaito paused, eyes glowing. "You are not just my wife. You are the key to saving my tribe." They hid in a forgotten cave deep in the Limpopo forest. Inside, ancient Venda paintings covered the walls, depictions of humans merging with leopards, standing at gateways between two realms. Nandi traced her fingers over one symbol that looked strangely familiar. It was the same pattern etched on her grandmother's old bracelet, the one she had given Nandi on her wedding day. "Our bloodlines crossed long ago," Kaito explained. "Your ancestors once bonded with mine. The Madalila survived because of your people." Nandi wanted to deny it, but memories surfaced, her grandmother whispering old legends at night, warning her never to break the circle of protection, telling her she was born with a calling the spirits would reveal in time. Now those words felt like prophecy. Kaito led her deeper into the cave to a stone altar carved with leopard markings. "This is the veil of the ancestors," he said. "It awakens only for one with both human and guardian legacy." As Nandi approached, the air shifted. Blue flames flickered to life without firewood. The rock beneath her feet pulsed like a heartbeat. Suddenly the veil opened, a swirling portal appeared, showing glimpses of the spirit realm, a world full of glowing forests and shadowy figures. The ancestors' voices echoed around her, humming her name. Kaito bowed his head. "You have the power to reopen the bond between both worlds," he said. "If the realms reconnect peacefully, the hunters will lose their purpose. The war will end." But not all spirits were at peace. One dark figure inside the veil snarled, and the portal flashed violently. The hunters had tracked them. Their chanting grew louder outside the cave, and silver smoke slithered across the floor. Nandi felt the veil tugging her forward. She had a choice: step into destiny or watch Kaito die fighting alone. She took a breath, and stepped into the light. The spirit realm embraced Nandi like warm air after a storm. She found herself standing in a glowing forest where trees shone like stardust. The ancestors appeared around her, human shapes with leopard shadows. "Daughter of the circle," they said. "You carry both worlds in your blood. Heal the rift." They taught her ancient words, glowing symbols, and the forgotten oath spoken by the first leopard bride. Power surged through her veins, awakening something she never knew she possessed. When she stepped back through the veil, time snapped into motion. The hunters burst into the cave, weapons raised at Kaito. Nandi lifted her hand, and golden energy erupted from her palm, forming a shimmering barrier that threw the men backward. Her voice echoed with ancestral strength as she spoke the binding oath. The forest responded, roots tearing through the ground, vines grabbing the hunters, stripping their weapons away. Kaito stood beside her in full leopard form, eyes glowing with pride rather than fear. The veil expanded behind them, flooding the cave with light. Spirits emerged, not to attack, but to witness the bond being restored. Nandi placed her hand on Kaito's fur, and he morphed back into human form, kneeling before her. "You are the reason my people will survive," he said, voice trembling. "You are more than my wife. You are the leopard bride." The ancestors declared the war ended. The bond between realms rekindled. The hunters, now stripped of their purpose, fled the forest. Kaito and Nandi returned to the estate, no longer hiding. The staff bowed when they arrived, whispering blessings meant only for royalty of the spirit line. That night, as they stood beneath the Limpopo moon, Nandi realized something profound. She had not married a monster. She had married a king. And with her power awakened, the supernatural world would never be the same again.